Hello and welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith and today we're looking at Triplock, a playthrough of room number 2 from the station for Triplock, which is currently on Kickstarter by Chip Theory Games. And in the last video we actually had a failure on the part of trying to complete a diagram, of which we failed to do. We were going for this one and we failed in terms of picking it up and seeing what was underneath, so that's too bad. We lost all of our actions that round and progressed, and now we're in the 5th round. We have 8 full rounds to do this. We have to solve a 5-point, we have to get 5 points and also solve this lock here, which is going to be very, very tough to do in just that little amount of rounds. We'll do our best though to try it, and we'll see how this pans out. So we're going to start our turn off. We do know based on the failure, and I'll go ahead and show this to you guys again because we knew this from the previous video, so you guys are kind of caught up. But we do know this is pull. And this is the one I thought was something completely different. I thought this was like, I don't even know what I thought it was at the time. But this is pull. And so I basically was off, I believe, by a full set. I needed this to rotate one more time before I could solve it, and then things were there. The problem is now I don't even know if I'm sure of the order that I thought was there. So we'll have to double check on some things. But pull is here. The biggest thing for me on this turn is going to be rolling the dice and hoping to get this symbol right here. If I get this symbol, it says disarm any visible failsafe and draw a new diagram. I need that to get a diagram to get points, or I can discard both dice to just get that right away. In other words, I can end up wasting an entire round or turn just trying to get a new diagram. But luckily I was able to roll one of the dice to get the diagram, so that's good news. I also got this one, which allows me to, what does that allow me to do? Swap any 2 visible mechanism stacks. Well, that's not really handy unless I know what's under them, and as of right now I don't trust myself. So we're going to go ahead and do the disarm any visible failsafe and draw a new diagram. So we know what's under here. We know this one is pull, so we might as well disarm this one and see what's underneath. So we're going to go ahead and disarm it. Comes off. It is the padlock. This one is now going to go onto the room 2 card, as it says in the room rules. It usually, if you disarm it, in most cases in other rooms, you think you would get it right here in your player area, and you're collecting those disarms, and they can actually be something that you can accumulate over here. But in this case, you put them on the card, and if something, it says anytime mechanism's failsafe is removed, which we just did, flip this mechanism stack. If this new mechanism, so let me just start from the beginning there, sorry. So it says all disarm failsafe must be placed on this card. So I've done that. Then it says anytime a mechanism's failsafe is removed, which we just did, we flip the mechanism stack. If this new mechanism does not have a failsafe, add one. So we're going to flip this padlock over. So we got to remember what's on the other side. It is levers. So we're going to flip this over. So now we have, and there is a failsafe here. If there wasn't, we'd be grabbing the failsafe that's sitting here and putting it on top. That's the reasoning behind room number 2, or the thought process. So yeah, that's kind of wild. So we have pull and we have levers. So the cool thing about what we just did here with this particular die is we get to draw a new diagram. So we're going to definitely do that. We need 5 points and we need it real quick. So I can't goof around with these 3 ones. I need this one now because I really messed up. So I've got, do I have this one? I have that one. So I have pull. I know where pull is. Sadly, pull is going to end up in this spot next turn, which is no good to me. Spring, on the other hand, and gear, it's somewhere. It's got to be here, I'd assume. So I don't know if it's gear or spring here. Now, I messed up at some point here, so I don't know if spring or gear is here. I'm going to have to double check on that, but it should be. This is the stack it should be. Again, I say should. And then there's the key code side as well. The nasty thing about the key code is there's a key somewhere, so that's likely here. I don't really know. We're going to have to figure this out as we go. But essentially, this is the one that has nothing to do with, well, now it does, sorry, because we know this is pull. So pull is here, which we have to keep in mind, and levers is here. Levers has padlock on either side, and we don't need that. So this is the one we got to stop caring about. And we got to care about these 3 in order to get this lock done. So these are the 3 piles, okay? So I got to figure out what these are. We're going to remember that as of right now, this one is pull. That's all we have to remember and go forward with that, okay? So I've gone ahead and done that. The other thing we can do here is we can flip any 2 visible mechanism stacks. So what I could do is, if this is the one that we care about, and just trying to think, levers and padlocks, we do not care about this. So you know what, I'm going to flip these around. I'm going to flip these 2 stacks because we don't care about this one. We want this one to go into the lock position next. So I'm going to have this one flip like this. We're going to flip these around. They have to be in the visible spot in order to do that. So now we should be in a better place because we have pull here, and this will go in, and then we can figure out what's on the two sides of this later. So, and then skill dice wise, we need to get some actions to get some extra movement here going. So again, we got to remember pull is here. This low stack we don't care about, and that's the end of our turn. I've used both dice now, and I'm obviously not going to try to solve it. So we're going to go to the room's turn. The room's going to cycle things around, so things are going to shift down the pipes. So now we know, the good thing is we put the one we don't care about in the hidden area. The one we care about is pull right here, and we got to figure out what these two are. So let's roll our dice and find out what they are. Okay, so we got a, oh, this is good. Peek at hidden mechanism and its fail-safe. Flip this stack and rotate all 4 stacks. So that's bad. Oh no, I didn't get that one. Sorry, I got flip any or swap any 2 visible mechanism stacks. Kind of useless for me right now. This one's disarm any visible, fail-safe, and draw a new diagram. Also kind of useless right now. Instead, what I'm going to do is... Oh, this makes it really tough. What do I do with this? Flip me to... I've got the 3 I need right here, but I don't know what they are. The problem is I don't trust what these... I don't know which one's which now. I've lost count, or I've lost... Based on the last failure, I'm not sure which of these is which, or if they're even facing the correct way because of how I screwed that up. I know I need pull. I know... it's one of these are the ones I need. So... Let me think here. How do I want to do this? I need something that can... I could totally discard both of these dice in order to peek at both, but that could help me because then I could know whether I could solve it right now or not. But then the risk is if that's all I'm doing is peeking and one of these isn't ready to be solved in this turn, it's going to shift into the hidden and I'm screwed for almost 3 full turns unless I can use... Although I do have Dex's really cool swap stacking ability, which I could use. Actually, you know what? That's okay. Let's do that. So I'm going to discard both of these dice. We're going to peek at the 2 mechanisms in their failsafes. We're going to peek at both of these 2. So we know this is pull. This one is code. Awesome. So we got pull and code. Great. And this one is gear. Oh, it's wrong. So we need it to be spring. We need to flip this one. So that's crazy. So we've got pull, code, and gear. Pull, code, gear. Pull, code, gear. I got to get that down in my head. All right, and that's all I'm going to do for my actions. The only other thing I could do, potentially, is to move this skill bead up to 1. And, oh, sorry, I didn't move the round counter ahead either, so I should be on 6 now. Let's see. Sorry, that I should have done that earlier. So, shoot, if I have an extra action die, I could roll it. So I have 1 extra action die. I guess we could get really lucky here. Geez, every single time I take my eyes off these things, I want to forget what they are, but it's pull, code, and gear. Pull, code, gear, pull, code, gear. What is this one? Disarm any visible failsafe and draw a diagram. That's not what I need. Shoot. You know what? Let's do that. I use that action. We're going to disarm this failsafe so I don't have to keep trying to remember it. It's going to get thrown over here to this pile. It says anytime. Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect because the room's going to help us. Anytime mechanism failsafe is removed, flip this mechanism stack. If this new mechanism does not have a failsafe, add 1. So we flip this, making the gear a spring, which is exactly what we need. So now we have, we did it. This is amazing. I didn't think I could pull it off in that way, and I was able to do that. So we can now try to attempt to unlock this particular diagram. So let's do it. This one is, here we go. I'm really worried because I failed last time, but this one is pull. Good. Okay, so we'll just double check. The arrows matter. One going to the right is pull, one going to the left is push. So we got pull here. This is code. Awesome. And again, just so you guys have to remember, it can be in any order. It doesn't have to be left or right on this one. It can be any order as long as I call them out correctly and they're in the visible spots. And this one should be spring. There we go. We nailed it. So we got ourselves the 5 points that we needed in order to move on to the big, big, bad combo lock that's waiting for us right here. Okay, so we've done it. We've solved that particular one. So we'll flip that one over and just say it's done. So that's great news. And one other thing I want to double check on in the rules really quick is once you solve your particular points card, let's see what it says. I just got to go to that particular. So attempting to complete the diagram. Reveal this diagram for your opponent. Completing a diagram means correctly revealing and matching each mechanism trip within the visible lock area with the sequence on the selected diagram. This is done one mechanism at a time. We're revealing. Temporary lift the failsafe chip. If present, for each symbol, you must declare what is before you reveal. If one is incorrect, stop immediately, discard the diagram, and end your turn. No sequence may use the mechanism in the hidden lock area. That's fine. So my assumption is when you solve this lock, these go back on top would be my assumption. They would just go back because you've solved that lock, but it still continues on. That I'm gonna have to double check on. We're gonna play it like that because I wouldn't believe they'd all just come off because I didn't actually disarm the failsafe. I just knew what was underneath and attempted to pass it. So we're gonna continue on, and now our focus really, which we can bring over here so we remember, is spring, pull. This one is actually push and levers, okay? So we know from right here that we currently have, this one needs to be flipped. This one is spring, and this one, and it has to be left to right. So this is gonna be really difficult. So basically we're gonna need to get this guy here. We're gonna need to get, this is gonna be real fun. This is gonna be real fun. It'll be a nice brain buster. So, what is it? What's on the other side of levers? Padlock, right? Padlock. Okay, so we didn't have a padlock in the one we just did. So padlock's over here probably, and it flipped. I thought it flipped. I think I don't remember, but it's here. So we've got this one here that needs to be at the end. So that's good because this one can come out of the hidden and go all the way to the end. So in 3 turns we should be able to get there. Now, because I successfully completed it on the 6th round, I can still go ahead and I can still use my skill dice because when you successfully complete a diagram, you can continue with your actions, although I've already used my action dice to get what I wanted. Oh, sorry, and I used, no, everything is fine. So I can go ahead and put this on the action queue to start up the next, to kind of build up towards another die, essentially. And that's it. That's my turn. I've already used the dice. I've already unveiled those particular ones, so my turn is done. So now the room will go and we'll rotate things. This is where I get really sketched out. So what we have here that we know of is this was, and I'm going to leave this face up so we can kind of remember it, but this one was pull, this one was keypad or code, and this one was spring. So we're going to basically rotate these around. So now we've got it like this. At the end of the day, we know that this one here, in order to solve this lock, is either the padlock or the lever. So we got to look at this again to make sure we got it on the right side. And these, this one here needs to flip for sure to the push side, but now it's stuck in the hidden area. So it would be good to get this into position, possibly using Axe's skill in the next turn. So this is the end of round 6, and now we're on round 7. This is going to be really dicey. It's going to come right down to the end here. So hopefully I can swing this somehow. So let's think about what we need to do here. I could use the skill bead before I do any dice rolling to swap some things with, because I could use a skill bead. Sorry, it was here. I am allowed on my turn with a skill bead to either bump this up to here to get the extra die, or just take it off completely and drop it on Axe and get his skill. I lose all progress over here though. So that's the gamble. Do I do that? I don't really know. Sorry again, guys. My camera is kind of going ape on me here. I think it's lost its focus. I'm just going to try to bring it back. Oh wow, it's really going crazy. We'll just settle it down for a second. Kind of hope that it comes back to me. Okay, I think we're all right. I think I just made it sick for a second with the movement. So I could put my skill bead here, and we could continue on. And what I could do is I could flip this stack right here with one that to move it to where we need it to be. This one is the push, or this one is the pull. We need it to be in between, in the end, we need it to be in between the spring and I know the spring is here. So what I should do is rotate these. So I'm going to put my skill bead that was here to here. I'm going to rotate these So now what should be happening is this should be spring. This is pull. So spring, pull, and what the heck is this one? Code. This one should be code. Spring, pull, code. Code has key on the other side. I don't need that. Spring, pull, code. Yeah, code is the one I don't need for this particular one because code has a key on the other side. So this is the stack I really don't care about. So even as of right now, I have everything. I'm going to switch that back. I think I did that incorrectly. I'm really sketched out here. I'm going to change my. I'm going to switch that back because. So this one was pull, and I want. Oh man, this is so sketch. Yeah, no, I'm okay with it. I'll do it for now. My brain is starting to explode a little bit, guys, as I try to puzzle my way through this one. So this one needs to be flipped to push, and wow, I'm having troubles. Okay, so push. I think this is code, so it'd be code, push, spring. Code. Sorry, code, pull, spring. Code, pull, spring. Code, pull, spring. Okay, let's roll our dice. Code, pull, spring. Code, pull, spring. Let's put that there. And code, pull, spring. Oh, we got two of the exact same. Interesting. Peek at hidden mechanism and its failsafe. Flip the stack. Rotate all 4 stacks. Oh, interesting. That could help us out a lot. Pull, code, spring. I can't do it. Oh, it says peek at a hidden mechanism and its failsafe. Then flip the stack and rotate. That's good. So I'm going to use one of those dice to do that. So this one is I'm going to peek at this one, which is great, so I can see what it is, and it should be pull, or, sorry, I flipped them around, it's code. So that's good, so I peeked at this, flip the stack, so now it's no longer going to be code, it's going to be key, but that doesn't matter, because this is the one we don't care about. So I flip that around, and then we rotate all the stacks. So essentially, this is going to rotate over here. Now we have pull, right here, we have spring here, we have something here that I forgot about, and then what we just looked at, code here. Okay, this is the one we don't care about. Okay, now if I use one die, the other die says peek at hidden mechanism is failsafe, flip this stack, and rotate. So we know this one's pull, we want it to be push, so why don't we peek at it? Perfect. We're gonna put it back, flip the stack. So now it's going to be push, which is what we want, and everything rotates again. So now we have push over here. This should be spring. And this is probably, this is either padlock or lever, and I forget which one it is, but we're getting close. We've moved things so fast with those two dice rolls that we're getting in good position here. But I am starting to draw a little bit of a blank on what we got here. So we know this one is spring. It should be spring. Jeez. Oh man, this is stressful. Okay, so I've done my turn. So at the end of my turn, now we go ahead and rotate all the stacks again. So that's a lot of rotating because my turn's done. I already used my skill bead on him, so it comes off. And we're going to continue rotating. I got to just try to remind myself of what is what again. So this one, from what I understand, is... Let's see. This one's key, which was useless. This one's key, which is useless. This one is the push now. This is push. This should be spring. And this is this is the one we need to check on. So now we're going to do our rotation for the room. This is the one we need to check on, I think. Oh my gosh, my brain is starting to hurt. Okay, so that's it. We're now done. We move to round 8. Oh, this is the last round, guys. So we've got to solve it or fail it right here. So this is where it gets crazy. Can we pull this off? So I don't know. I don't know if I can. So we know this is the one this one is pull. We need things to rotate one more time. So we're going to roll our dice and see what we can get to give us options. Okay, we got 2. It says flip any visible mechanism stacks. Okay, that's good. We just don't know what's under all of them, so that's the bad part. So let's think about this. As of right now, we have push here. This should be spring, although I'm not 100% sure. And this one's either lever or something else. It's either lever or it's padlock. And it's already, when it came up the first time, it was padlock. And we lost the mechanism off, so this should be lever. So what we really need is we need this one here. So let's do, we're going to use a skill bead on Dex, or on Axe, which is going to allow us to swap these two. And this is going to put this one right here. So now we have what I think should be lever here. I think. This is the one I know is right. This one for sure. But at this point, we only have this turn to solve this, so we don't have much time to fiddle around. I think they're in order now. I think this is spring. I think this is push. And I think this is lever. But what I'm going to do with my last 2 dice, I'm going to discard them in order to peek at 2 fail safes, because I want to see how close I am. I don't want to make sure I call this out correctly. So we have to get left to right, spring, push, and levers. So here's hoping I've got them right. I'm not choosing to complete the diagram now. I'm discarding these 2 cards to peek at any 2 mechanisms. So I know this one is push. I've got to double check on these. So let's see what this is. Should be lever. It is. Good. And this one should be spring. It is. Good. Guys, I think we got this in the bag. I think we solved it. This could be incredible. So this is it. So I'm going to choose on my turn right now to complete the diagram. So I'm going to go ahead and flip and call it out as I go. So from left to right, we'll start here. We know this is the spring. We know this one here is the push symbol, so it should be facing back. And we know this one here is the levers. There we go. Look at that, guys. We got it. We finished it literally on the 8th round. And as the card states, right at the top here, where does it say? Oh, I cannot believe I actually solved that. That's insane. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that, because that went from utter complete failure right off the top to me just barely getting it. Oh, this is the wrong one. Sorry, this is the other one. This is the one we were trying to do right now. So you can see there's the 3. We got them all in order, left to right. I made the right calls the right times. And it says we had to do it in 8 rounds or fewer, and we did it on the 8th round. Absolutely mind-blowing, but so much fun. So you can see, like, even when you fail, if you combine your actions along with your skills that your character has, along with some points here, or actions, and extra dice rolling, plus busting your memory to try to remember as things flip and rotate. And I can tell you, as these rooms go along, this is room 2. There's 2 more to go. I guarantee you they get tougher. And my head already kind of hurts just from trying to remember what I was doing. But I managed to not screw up, and that's a plus. So hope you guys have enjoyed this particular room. Keep on rolling solo, and if you haven't checked out the channel in the past, please subscribe. Hopefully this video helps you in your decision of whether or not to back Triplock. I'm having a blast with it. I think it's a great game. It's a perfect solo game, something you can sit down and play in about 20 minutes. Until next time, guys, like I said, keep on rolling solo.